Yikes, Republican son of an immigrant says no immigration. My man, if your last name is Cortez, like, it wasn't that long ago until when people that have the same kind of fucking idea that you're experiencing right now didn't want you in the country. Raise your hand if you want this plane landing in your town. America paid unimaginable costs in Afghanistan because the uniparty globalists who dominated the Bush and Obama administrations no more. What's really ironic is that, like, the Vietnamese surge in immigration was monolithic in its political understanding.
Love all of you.
Except not for the Democratic Party. So when Republicans say stuff like this, first of all, it is a really, really indecent way of looking at human beings that are escaping conflict that we caused. Okay? So that's the first thing, which is like really fucked up. But secondly, like, there's no guarantee that these dudes are going to fucking vote for the Democratic Party, because they always say, like, oh, these guys are, Democrats want them in the country so that they vote. Democrats want these people in the country so that they vote for the Democrats. It's like, no, that's not a guarantee. And two, who gives a fuck if that's even the case? And lastly, this is like a humanitarian effort and not, you know, not for political gains or demographics of destiny or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
MSNBC clapback on Pence talking about Biden's weakness. Zero mention of Trump's agreement to free 5K Taliban prisoners, many of whom went straight to the battlefield to fight on the enemy side, or the sanction that he lifted on the Taliban leaders. Yeah, I mean, that is what happened. That was a part of the conditional withdrawal. Yeah, I know the guy who fucking follows me, Robert O'Neill, is on SEAL Team 6, the one that said they're going to do Yihad. Anyway, I came here 20 years ago from Armenia. I still can't vote because I'm not a citizen. Fuck are these dudes talking about? Yeah, there's also that. But the thing is, they think that, listen, if you came here 20 years ago and you're still not a citizen, they're not talking about you. They're talking about your children. They don't think that, like, the child of an immigrant is also like a full-blown American citizen. That's what they're saying. That's what they mean. That's why they always add, like, American citizens that were natural-born U.S. citizens that natural-born U.S. citizens that are literally not fucking considered to be real Americans. That's why they add them onto the fucking cost of immigration. Whenever people talk about the cost of immigration, whenever Republicans say, like, this is the cost of immigration, and they point to, like, the 200 billion figure, or whatever that figure is, I forget now, they're literally talking about natural-born U.S. citizens. They're just first-generation natural-born U.S. citizens born to, like, immigrant families. They add that to the fucking pile. Okay? What mutual aid projects do you support? I can give you a list. I've supported a bunch of them publicly on stream. Ground Game LA is one of them. There's a bunch of bail funds. There's numerous organizations that do really good work. I was born in Germany, but my dad is American, so I got dual citizenship. Should make a command for it. Would be useful. Yeah. Oh, the allegations against Ilhan Omar. We're gonna talk about that in a second too. Holy fuck, that was like spicy. So I feel like we've already covered the OnlyFans thing. We don't know yet, but I'm pretty sure that it's not gonna be like full blown ban on all like sexually explicit content. There's no shot that that's going to happen. Because it would turn into fucking Tumblr. When are you gonna cover the bomb threat? I already did. A third member of the Senate has COVID now. What the fuck? There's a lot going on. Hold on. Oh, fuck. I have to pee. Let's hear what the lone survivor Marcus Luttrell has to say about Afghanistan, though.
20-year war end just as it started with the Taliban in control. Here with his message is Navy SEAL who served in Afghanistan. He also wrote that book right there, Lone Survivor, Marcus Luttrell. Good morning, Marcus.
Good morning.
Marcus,
how are y'all?
We're doing well, thank you. I can't even imagine what you're thinking, because you deployed to Afghanistan with your Navy SEAL team. Y'all were all attacked by the Taliban, and you were the lone survivor. What's going through your mind when you're watching these images?
I have that same feeling most everybody else does. It's kind of like watching the end of a movie that turned bad on you. I mean, ultimately, I think it's the fact that we worked so hard over there to prove to the American people that we would do our jobs. And by looking at that, it looks like we didn't do anything. And I kind of understand that. But I've been in that exact situation, not only just being there, but was left there. And I was, all I could think about was getting here. And America's not just only a place, it's the people. All I wanted to do was just get back here to y'all. They literally have people falling off of the outside of aircrafts just to get here to our people. They're only familiar with our uniformed people, and when they don't understand how Amazing Grace, America's people, is just the best there is. And these people are trying to get here, and they're not. We're talking about Americans. The ultimate feeling that we have is that we left people behind, and we don't do that. I was out there by myself in a hole about the size or the dimensions of underneath the couch y'all are sitting on, and y'all found me. Okay, y'all sent the entire army to come get me, and we have about, you said 10,000 of us sitting over there. Well, then we need to go get them. And I understand
how
that's
can we
happening,
do that?
and it should happen like that.
How
we don't
can
leave
we do
anybody
it,
behind.
Marcus?
There's just one of us over there. You go get them.
How can we do it, Marcus?
This guy literally lied about his entire experience in the documented by the Lone Survivor movie. And also, he was ultimately saved by the kindness of the fucking tribal people. And I believe an Afghan interpreter, as a matter of fact, that is the sole reason for why he was saved. And also did not even fucking fire a single shot. I love that, like, his entire experience, or rather his entire commentary, revolves around the completely fabricated stories that he fucking put forward. Dude, Navy SEALs
would choose not to come instead of getting the shot. Conservatism is truly a brain-rotting disease. F in the chat.
Navy SEALs that, like, you know, document their experiences extensively are doing it for the bag, okay?
Shit doesn't have to make sense. You just have to
Mini
say
F,
real
sorry.
brash.
Please explain where you got the info that he was lying. Why do you shit on soldiers so much? Have you ever sacrificed anything? No. I got the info that he was lying from, I mean, here, I'll just show you. It was documented extensively, so. The only thing I sacrificed is not fucking your mom today, and instead, you know, doing this. Streaming every day. Hold on, let's see. It was Mohammed Gulab, that fucking, what the fuck, coffee pot. Thank you for the awfully hot coffee pot. Thank you for the 25 gifted subs. Marcus Luttrell was only one of the 4 SEALs to survive the battle with Taliban. He was rescued famously by an Afghan villager. Okay, Mohammed Gulab. He made it back home and made a fortune off of like his exploits in Afghanistan. Poet Ted Bertram, thank you for the 5 tier 1 gift subs. Okay. There was another fucking article. Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up in a second. Gulab is accusing the Navy SEAL of exaggerating parts of the story. There were far less than 80 to 200 insurgents that Luttrell claimed were attacking the unit in northeastern Afghanistan. Gulab also said Luttrell was found with 11 magazines of ammunition, but the soldier claimed in his book he used nearly all of his bullets. For the record, here is the guy. That photo that coffee pot, another 25. Thank you. Here's Mohammed Gulab and Marcus Luttrell together. And here's Mohammed Gulab holding the photo of Marcus Luttrell. He's now in Fort Worth, Texas, holding a photo of Luttrell taken during their confrontation with the Taliban-linked militia. We fact-checked the film about Operation Red Wing starring Mark Wahlberg. This movie made the impression that Operation Red Wing is relatively routine, has a lot of moving parts. Fiction, but according to Luttrell's book, he was given the go-ahead and then canceled several times. Wait, this is just like comparing it to fucking the movie to the book. I'm saying the fucking book was like exaggerated. In both the book and the film, the SEALs, Marcus Luttrell, Michael Murphy, blah, 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 blah. The Taliban would capitalize on the herdsmen's deaths, and CNN would run a story on the SEALs slaughtering innocent men, allowing the herders to escape, was assigning a death warrant in the movie. What? This is like all... No, this fucking fact check is just like fact checking the movie. The movie is even more fucking fake, of course. Yeah, I mean, the movie says 2 helicopters came to save Luttrell, but one was struck by a rocket launcher. 8 SEAls and 8 Army Night Stalkers were killed when a rocket hit the helicopter attempting to rescue Luttrell. Luttrell was rescued by a villager. That's true. The village protected him because of an ancient moral code to which they ascribe that dictates you must not only shelter and feed a wounded loner, but also protect him against his enemies. Gulab, a doctor, even pulled the shrapnel out of his leg. Okay. In his book, To Be a Friend is Fatal, Kirk Johnson, a former U.S. agency for international development worker in Fallujah, describes the wishful thinking and twisted logic that left so many U.S. allies stranded in Iraq and Afghanistan. In the mid-2000s, insurgents stepped up their attacks against collaborators. Johnson began compiling a list of at-risk Iraqis. America, he felt, had a moral obligation to bring them to the States. Gulab is among the fortunate few. This is just background on how Gulab came to America. Luttrell and his fellow SEALs, Michael Murphy, they headed out for a recon mission in a dangerous part of Kunar province near the Pakistani border. A sniper and a medic, Luttrell packed a scope military assault rifle and 11 magazines. 3 more than usual, he wrote in Lone Survivor. The SEAls were dropped off in the Bad and Barren Mountains to hunt a Taliban leader, known to be one of Osama bin Laden's closest associates. The next day, their mission unraveled around noon. The way Luttrell tells it in his book, his team tried to contact headquarters but couldn't get through. So Murphy decided to take a vote. Axelson wanted to kill the herders. Dietz abstained, and Murphy deferred to Luttrell, who decided to let them go. It was the stupidest, most southern-fried, lame-brained decision I ever made in my life, he wrote. More than an hour and a half later, the SEALs spotted 80 to 200 heavily armed militants above them. So this was a lie. Like, the number of the people, the militants, was made up. Luttrell wrote, and I cursed those fucking goat herds to hell. Like, he's writing this book about the goat herders that gave their position away to the Taliban, Meanwhile,
Stay
one
on
of
for
those
Sam.
fucking goat herders literally saved his life. Just remember that. Luttrell fired at one hook-nosed Taliban warrior and blew his head off. The militants responded with a barrage of bullets. The Americans again tried to contact headquarters but couldn't get through. The battle raged for quite some time. The Americans were badly injured, Luttrell wrote, but continued to fight back, killing as many Taliban as they could until they were nearly out of ammunition. This part is like the number of the fucking insurgents were heavily exaggerated. And not only that, but also the fact that he claimed to fire, all of their bullets, that's also a lie. We must have killed 50 or more of them. Yeah, that didn't happen. And also on top, yeah, hook-nosed, by the way. Yeah, I know, real nice. And also on top of that, when he was found, he had all of his magazines on him, like all of them. From his position, he couldn't connect, so he sat on a small rock out in the open, making one last attempt. He succeeded, but it cost him his life. A short while later, all of Luttrell's teammates were dead, and a Taliban grenade blew him sideways and over a ravine. He then came to the SEAL, realized that the blast had blown his pants off, and he was badly injured. His back and nose were broken, his face was busted up. 8 members of the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment and 8 Navy SEALs quickly boarded a helicopter to come to his rescue. But as the aircraft flew over the mountains and the team prepared to rope down, an insurgent fired an RPG. It struck the fuel tanks, and no one survived. That's when a few Afghan villagers appeared before him. No Taliban, one of them shouted. No Taliban. He gave Luttrell water and helped him carry back to the village. Soon, Luttrell wrote, I met my first real friend, Mohammed Gulab. For days, Gulab and the other villagers protected Luttrell from the militants, even in the face of death threats. They considered their duty under Pashtunwali. By the way, Pashtunwali was, this is getting into this actual nitty-gritty, but Pashtunwali
in the 2 prominent leftist parties
is the same code of conduct that people say was the reason for why the Taliban didn't immediately give up Osama bin Laden. For the record, it is the tribal code that they abide by. Does not matter who the person is, does not matter what they've done. If they come seeking help in a situation, they will protect them. Of course, the Taliban still was ready to negotiate an extradition, but that's besides the point. We've already talked about that. As Gulab guarded Luttrell, the SEAL wrote, another villager went to the nearby U.S. military base with a note from the American. Eventually, as the Taliban prepared to attack, Luttrell wrote, a team of Army Rangers arrived and whisked them and put them in a helicopter. Before they parted, Luttrell gave Gulab his watch, a token of his gratitude, but the villager declined. The two hugged. I had no words in his language to express my thanks. Our paths, which had crossed so suddenly and so powerfully in a life-changing encounter for both of us, were about to diverge. So the U.S. military got him out and brought him to the United States. That is until 2006, when he and his brother-in-law were walking on a rural road outside of HasanAbi. As they passed through a valley, the Taliban began firing them with AK-47s. Gulab emerged unscathed, but a bullet hit his brother-in-law in the ribs. Fortunately, there were American troops nearby, and they airlifted them to see a doctor. The Taliban... what the fuck? They actually arrested him, fearing he was collaborating with the Taliban, among other things. After several days, they set him free and apologized. Gulab says they continued paying him, but he was no longer allowed on the base. The Afghan pressed on. He brought another truck and hired workers to haul timber. He tried to reach out to Luttrell again. Fairchild declined to comment for this story, but the Afghan said he contacted Luttrell for him to confirm his identity. Gulab says he gave Fairchild a photo of a friend took of the SEAL dressed in traditional Afghan clothing during his time in the village when they were hiding him. So they bought the rights to his book. They bought Luttrell's rights to the book that he wrote. Gulab, however, says he only wanted friendship, and Luttrell said he wanted the same. When the Afghan contacted him through Fairchild, the former SEAL was setting up a nonprofit, the Lone Survivor Foundation, to help American military personnel adjust to their life after war. Gulab couldn't make it to... Okay, where are the fucking... Over the next year, Gulab and Luttrell periodically kept in touch through an Afghan intermediary. Gulab says Luttrell kept trying and even promised him money. It's not that I'd pay you, the Afghan villager recalls him saying. It's for the money for the movie. Gulab still wasn't sure, explaining, I didn't save Marcus for money. The translator, who recalls, pushed harder. He took 2 rounds to the chest. Hasan thinks he's so cool. Oh. Yes, there it is. That's what I was looking for, but I can't fucking find the actual... I remember reading an article similar to this one that didn't just have the accounts of Muhammad Gulab, but also other like military officers, like a Marine officer. Marines in Afghan who saved Marcus Luttrell says lone survivor was a lie. A few Marines and the man responsible for saving, harboring, and defending the lone survivor Navy SEALs Marcus Luttrell have come forward to contest the movie and book's portrayal of events in Afghanistan. Luttrell no doubt profited from the blockbuster film, earned $155 million. 1. The Navy SEALs didn't die because they spared civilians. Gulab claims the SEALs were spotted by the Taliban as soon as they were inserted via helicopter. The Taliban reportedly went to the location of their insertion the following morning and began tracking their footprints. They died because they were easily tracked, quickly outmaneuvered, and thoroughly outgunned, said Gulab. Gulab claims the locals said the Taliban already knew of the SEALs' location and even watched as they interacted with the goat herders they spared. 2. They did not kill 35 Taliban. The Naval Special Warfare estimate that the SEALs killed 35 Taliban during their firefight is one that Gulab scoffs at. Gulab does not believe the number was exaggerated. He thinks it was completely fabricated. He claims the local villagers and American military never found any Taliban corpses after combing the mountains. Andrew McManus, a former Marine colonel who helped draw up the mission and was on scene during the search and recovery effort for the dead SEALs and the other military personnel, says there were no reports of enemy casualties. I've been at the location where he was ambushed multiple times. I've had Marines wounded there. I've been in enough firefights to know that when shit hits the fan, it's hard to know how many people are shooting at you, but there weren't 35 enemy fighters in all of the Karengal Valley that day, said Patrick Kinzer, a former Marine infantry who participated in Operation Red Wings. Marcus Luttrell did not run out of ammo, as he said. When he was found, Gulab says that when he was found and rescued, he had his combat load with 11 full magazines. There you go. Now, it's not just that, okay? It's not just... Marcus Luttrell is not alone in greatly embellishing the exploits, okay? Every fucking Navy SEAL,
Easy clap, we got 10
every Navy SEAL that like inevitably writes a book oftentimes is doing that. Why? Because it's like kind of hard, especially if they're on a special operation. It's kind of hard to fucking to get the accurate information out of a spec ops or out of a special operation, right? Because half the people that would be like, that's fucking not true, are either dead or they're literally still working in that team, so they're not going to come out and like falsify the accounts. Okay? Chris Kyle. The Newsweek article really hid a lot of the important information. Yeah, I know. Chris Kyle is famous for this as well. Like, I mean, Chris Kyle also came back to America and like lied about a bunch of shit that he did in America too, and was sued by Jesse Ventura, for example, famously. Even after he died, Jesse Ventura successfully sued like the endowment fund or whatever, the Chris Kyle like fund, and won for Jesse Ventura like lying. They lie about the confirmed kills all the time, greatly boost the fucking numbers. It's always like greatly exaggerated. Same with the guy who fucking follows me, the Navy, the SEAL Team 6 guy who follows me. He did not actually kill Osama bin Laden. The guy who actually killed Osama bin Laden is still a part of, maybe not SEAL Team 6, but still part of Spec Ops, and we don't know who he is. He came in afterwards while Osama bin Laden was already dead on the fucking ground, and canoed him. Okay. Yeah, he's still in the service, and his code name is Red. The other guy that also claimed he shot Osama bin Laden also did not fucking murder Osama bin Laden. They just shot him when he was dead. Okay? Canoed. It's like when you shoot someone with a rifle directly on the head to like fucking expose their brain matter and make them impossible to recognize. The dude that the guy that would lied about Osama was on the Nelk Boys podcast with Don Jr. for sure. Lone survivor uncovered the ambush at Satalo Sar. There's an undercurrent in the military community and the media questioning it to varying degrees. Truth behind HM1 Rhett, Marcus Luttrell's version of what really happened in the course of the operation. I mean, there's like
Munkor.
This is not new. This is not new. This is not news even. It's just like people fucking lie this shit all the time. I've gone through traumatic violence, and most of what I remember from it was from things I heard afterwards, and they seem like my own memories now. I can see how someone would tell a false tale without lying. I mean, I think these guys have a profit motive backed interest in lying. You know what I mean? That's what it is. Like that's where a lot of this comes from, because dude, he made a movie that made $155 million, like in the box office. Like, of course. So, yeah, verification is really hard. And also, the military does have a personal interest in a lot of the military has a personal interest in like allowing some of the embellished accounts to continue, because it makes for great war propaganda. You know what I mean? It's like good for recruitment, you know. It's like you got Mark Wahlberg playing the guy, you know what I mean? It is what it is. Kind of like the top of the hour ad break. Like, it is what it is. It happens, and it's going to continue happening. You know what I mean? Because it's a contractual obligation, right? Because at the top of the hour, every hour, there's a 60-second ad break. And if you no longer want to see those ads, obviously, there are a couple things you can do. You can subscribe. You can subscribe for $5. You can subscribe for free with a Twitch Prime. You can use an ad block or a VPN. But Twitch Prime is a methodology that is a method that is free if you have an Amazon Prime account or someone you know has one. Here's the 1 minute ad break now. Unrelated wild rich kids take for later.
Tomato time.
Mark Wahlberg shoot more ammo than the fucking guy who wrote the book. LMAO. I mean, in that operation, yes. Here's the TikTok medic.
Lol.
That defended the war. I don't know if this is real. He actually said, I deleted all my dating apps, or they're non-binary, by the way. I keep forgetting. They said, I deleted all my dating apps. What happened in romance? I just want to steal a girl from the village I'm at war with. I don't know if that's real or not, dude. That sounds like an insane thing for a person to say. The The funniest part about the lone survivor situation is that Dan Bilzerian actually paid money to be in the movie.
Smile.
And he got like producer credit for it. And then he actually never was in the movie. It's either fake or satire. Yeah, it's probably satire, but
No longer the baby. 10 months.
Hasan, didn't you wear that shirt Sunday? Did I? I don't think so. Maybe. It's been cleaned. So what do you want? You know what I mean? Like,
Nine months, baby. Ye.
okay.
Is this thing on? Hello? Hi. Bottom of the hour.
Who the fuck keeps track of the shirts I wear? Dude, are you kidding me? Welcome to fucking Twitch streaming. Like,
You'll act like washing
motherfuckers
machines
would be
don't
like, you're
exist.
not biting your nails enough. You need to bite more. Anyway, yeah, they backseat everything, including my laundry,
Anyway.
including my fucking laundry regimen. Okay. Every person being taken out, a couple is apparently having to sign a promissory note to pay $2,000 per family member. We seem to be able to pay for bombs to drop on other countries, but can't find humanitarian efforts without tax dollars. Jesus Christ. Every person requesting evacuation is required to sign a promissory note committing to pay $2,000 per person to get them to the U.S., and then they will additionally be responsible for getting to their final destination with the U.S. on their own. That's great.
You've worn that shirt
That's
47
so incredibly
times since
fucked up.
January 1st. Please see the attached Excel sheet.
I worked in refugee resettlement. We had a family of 10 come from Congo, and they were so worried about paying their own promissory note back within a year. What do they do? Do they just like fucking... What do they do? Do they
Shout
just like
out from Montana.
deport you if you don't fucking pay for it? If you can't pay your promissory note, like, imagine making six figures and still being called a broke
Thanks, Mr.
friend.
Hack.
Okay, this is like,
I'm quitting
I'm
my
gonna
job
watch
after
the
my
last
work as
Jewish man in
service has
Afghanistan
given
in a
my boss
second.
A few years ago, me and my friends started making a spreadsheet breaking down our incomes and availability for travel, and it looks like this. This is incredibly helpful. If you have your friends broken down here from Sean, my top
Projected income? Dude, what the fuck kind of psychotic nonsense is this, dude? Yo, the moment that you fucking, oh God, you're such a fucking loser, dude. Oh, Jesus Christ.
earning friend who makes over $5 million to who we call Broke Bob, who makes $125,000. How much available PTO we have?
Oh, dude, they all hang out regardless of income. That's so nice, dude.
5,000. How much available PTO we have or paid time off, bonuses, how much we're willing to spend on a 3-day trip, 7-day trip. We have some people that are very...
Wait, this motherfucker makes $150,000 a year or $125,000 a year, and he's willing to spend $10K on a fucking 3-day trip? Also, what is happening here, dude? This is like... This is a completely psychopathic thing to do. First of all, why doesn't Sean pay for everything? Like, I don't understand. He's projected 2021 income is $5 million. Like, I'm sure Sean doesn't have a bunch of fucking sickos up his ass like I do when I pay for fucking dinner. You know what I mean? Sure, he could do it. The fuck is this, dude?
$5 million, 7-day trip. We have some people that are...
I mean, he's literally saying he'll spend $125,000 for a 7-day trip. He can pay for everybody's trip.
D.
very responsible with their 7-day trips. Some people that already tapped out for the year. Marital status helps if we know there's going to be anyone else coming. Our willingness to travel to a third world destination, if they're willing to split a private flight, and if they're degenerate gamblers or not. This list is very pragmatic, and also a lot of them are saying that it's very motivational.
Yes, I have more friends that make less, but Forbes list starts at 6 figures.
So it allows us to avoid awkward situations.
Bro, this is what you're... Okay, let me just say something. This is how you operate if you have no fucking fulfillment in your life, okay? And a lot of finance guys are like this. I don't know what this dude's deal is. He's probably in like fucking real estate or in some finance or some shit like that. But the reason why a lot of finance guys are like this is because their lives are fucking sad as shit, dude. They work nonstop. Their job is not fulfilling even remotely. So all they operate on is like how much money they're generating, how much revenue they're generating, like, you know, their income stream, shit like that. And that's it, because that's the only thing that gives validity to the grueling and boring cog in the machine type work that they do.
So a few years ago, me and my
for the most part. That's the reason. These are like incredibly sad people, dude.
Situations within our friend group, inviting certain friends that may or may not want to do what we want to do, especially when it comes to gambling or spending a lot of money. So it works for us.
At least they get paid well for that. It doesn't matter. Their life fucking sucks ass. Sorry, since likely off topic, but can you explain the concept that private property is bad, good, or gray area? The difference between private property and personal property, which a lot of fucking idiots can't comprehend, is that there is no fucking Marxian basis for saying that, like, you can't have a fucking car or a house or some shit like that. Okay? A lot of people are idiots, though, and they misunderstand. And unironically, even leftists will unironically advocate for the reactionary point of view that, like, you are not supposed to have a single fucking thing to yourself. Socialism is when no fucking toothbrush. And the less toothbrush you have, the more socialist you are. Okay? Personal property is property that you have for yourself. Private property is property that you purchase so that it can accrue capital. Okay, one is landlording, which is inherently parasitic. The other is like
the leftist content.
Owning a house and fucking living in it, or owning a car and driving it. Unfortunately, though, because anti-socialist sentiment is the normative position, and because the idea that we're going to look at the fucking follow-up video with his friends that make under 100K. Hold on. We'll look at this in a second.
Tangy rants,
but unfortunately, because of the...
also, hi, chat, smile.
Because of the way that we, like, understand how work is supposed to be, which is, like, heavily propagandized to the degree that it's, like, as normal as the way you just live your goddamn life, we have a bunch of, like, really faulty premises. Really fucking faulty premises under... and a complete misunderstanding of how, like,
8 months,
socialism is supposed to be socialism is supposed to work. Like orthodox Marxists, even that consider themselves like socialists, will do this. Okay. Sucks, but it's just the way it is, and there's nothing you can do about it. One of the other main things that people always do, and you probably have done this yourself. Okay, one of the things that like people do all the time is misunderstanding the concept of work or labor. Okay, if you work for wages, then that's it. You're doing labor. Okay, if you're working for wages and you're generating revenue for someone that is making more off of your fucking work, then you're working. It doesn't matter. An argument I make routinely to help people understand this is like, people who have become billionaires off of their labor alone. Now, this really breaks people's minds, but the reality is a lot of like multimillionaires in the NBA or in the NFL that benefit from strong labor union protections unironically make a fucking killing exclusively off of their labor alone. Okay? They do. And people will be like, dude, that means that means they have no capacity to be a fucking worker. You're such an idiot. Now, of course, they make a significant more off of capital ownership. So what do? They take their wages and they purchase investment products, or they take their wages and they, buy a bunch of fucking properties that they will then manage. That all of a sudden turns them into bourgeois capital owners. That turns them into capitalists. Okay? Yeah, LeBron owns teams now. I know. Messi is a great example. Isn't it Messi that's a great example of like a labor billionaire? So, another thing that people get fucking mad at is if like they think that work is supposed to be backbreaking, grueling, and unpleasant. And unfortunately, work is a lot of those things. Okay? But it's the same concept that like conservative reactionaries fucking believe. And it's unfortunately the same concept that even some lefties believe. Okay? Where they will say, oh, you're not doing backbreaking and tiring, unfulfilling work, so you're not actually working. But that's not how labor is defined. That is a purely anti-materialist and purely idealized version, an ideological version of how labor is supposed to work. Okay? It's this notion that like only fucking coal miners are the true laborers, and that or only someone who works at Burger King is a true laborer. And it is actually the greatest propaganda that capital owners could have ever created, because it causes division amongst the working class. That's it. It causes division amongst the working class, and it allows for actual like workers to fucking despise one another. This happened in the UK. One of the best examples of this, I believe, was when there was it like the lorry drivers or something? There's like a pretty solid union amongst the like bus drivers union, whatever. I don't know what the fuck they say in the UK. They use like different languages. So a lot of the other workers in the country were genuinely upset. They were frustrated because they were like, well, they already make a lot of money. They would point to how much they're making to say that it's fucked up that they are actually on strike for additional benefits or additional compensation or whatever they were on strike for. So that is a capital owner's wet dream, to have the fucking, the tube drivers, yeah, to have the fucking guy that works at the salad bar yell about the fucking tube drivers when the tube drivers are demonstrating the only fucking most significant power that they have, which is work stoppages. Yes, there was a London Underground tube strike in the fucking UK.
Like explaining the color yellow to a blind
The concept of working class with this propaganda isn't as tangible as it should be. Yeah. When a fucking Hollywood actor, again, strong unions, or a NBA player, again, strong players unions, makes $100 million a year from just their fucking contracts alone, just from their labor alone, you have to recognize that that means that whoever is up top, whoever financed the movie or whoever owns the rights, is making billions of dollars off of their labor, because no one, unless they work for themselves, okay, and even then they're still beholden to other larger entities to survive, because you can't ever truly own the means of production in its entirety, unfortunately. But no one is ever going to pay you more than you're worth under a capitalist system. That's just not going to happen. So when you go to work, when you get out of college and you're fortunate enough to be able to go to work, okay, and you get a job, and you are being paid for that job, you are being paid less than what you are bringing in to that job. Okay? Your value, the value that you are generating through your labor, is significantly higher than what you are being paid. This is just how it works. Because the additional labor value, also known as surplus labor value, is taken from you and considered what is known as profits. A capitalist considers that to be non-exploitative. A socialist or a Marxist considers that to be exploitative. What the business does with your surplus labor value, the amount of value that you have generated for your bosses, is up to them. They can do whatever they want with it. This is the main difference between capitalism and socialism. My first job out of college, I replaced someone who was making $125K. They paid me $35K. The work was exactly the same. Of course. I hope some people understand this concept. Okay? Ultimately, there is no value without labor. There is no value without labor whatsoever.
New sub badge poggies.
If, let's say, you, I don't know, got a factory that you inherited from your parents. Okay? Without hiring workers to work that factory, you are simply just sitting on a factory, an empty factory. Let's say you also inherited a bunch of wood shipments. Okay? There's a bunch of wood now sitting in a fucking factory. That alone is just pure money that is just sitting there. Without someone to work that factory, without someone to be on the assembly line, you will never be able to generate value off of the pre-existing capital. How about autonomous factories? Now, that's a wonderful concept. Autonomous factories already exist, or automation already exists. So what automation actually does is increase productivity. That's why our productivity has increased tremendously over the course of the past 60 years, whereas wages have remained stagnant. So under a capitalist organization of the economy, when productivity increases, the capital owners will use that additional productivity to drive up profits, to continue paying you the same amount that they were paying you. And it does not fucking adjust to less work, to less work hours with the same pay, or you know, less work in general for the same pay. It does not translate back to the workers itself. So whenever people criticize automation, I always say, look, it's not the automation that is the problem. It's the way that we distribute profits that's the problem. It's the way that we engage in commodity production, and then how we analyze and how we see profits and surplus labor value that is a problem. Automation is just a beautiful thing. We are supposed to, through artificial intelligence or through machine learning and through automation, eradicate less meaningful, menial, laborious tasks. Okay? Because ultimately no one wants to clean the toilets. It's just the reality, right? What is this? Yeah, but when the tube strikes happen, it's the common worker commuting that suffers, not the government. It undermines workers' rights. This is used as an example of a union being a bad thing for our country since its damaging impact on the rest of society. Yeah. So you're not supposed to go along with that fucking anti-capitalist rhetoric, or sorry, pro-capitalist anti-worker rhetoric, and you're supposed to explain to people that, like, no, this is how it's supposed to work. It's how it's supposed to be. Also, there is still always going to be a need for labor, which I forgot to mention. there's an automation engineer in the chat who says, I literally designed the robots. What you're talking about, you're 100% correct. They generate so much value via labor, but nearly none of it comes back to the rest of the company. There will always still be need for labor. There is no, like, it'll never get to a point where it's like a self-oiled machine. Even if you have other machines that correct the previous machines on the assembly line, someone still had to build it. Someone still had to work on those machines. Someone still has to manage the machines. Automation without a change in who owns the means of production will literally just mean that the workers starve and die. This is also true. But it's impossible to get to that point because, as everyone knows, most capitalists recognize that the band-aids, like a strong, robust welfare state, are an absolute necessity to continue capitalist exploitation and capitalist commodity production. Because if they don't offer some of those band-aids in the form of welfare, which libertarians, like right libertarians, will call a riot tax, you will actually, unironically, have riots. It sounds like a horse being optimistic about its job when it sees the automobile. Yeah, I mean, horses are now more free than ever before, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's so much more complex than that also. It's like a silly fucking thing. Especially because horses aren't paid for their work. State gives false progress under the guise of reforms while strengthening the state at the same time. Yes, this is strong welfare and strong social democratic reforms are part of the reason why the inherent contradictions have not let the inherent contradictions that are within the capitalist organization of the economy have not led to the inevitable demise of the said capitalist organization of the economy. We see examples of this with we see examples of this all the time. Like, whenever the fucking economy goes tits up, the state steps in. The Western capitalist states will step in and correct that problem, oftentimes with our tax dollars. Usually, what the normal Western social democratic capitalist state is supposed to do is at the least correct the problem by offering the people money. In America, we are on the latest stage of fucking late stage capitalism, or just regular capitalism on overdrive, okay? That we end up paying the fucking banks that are responsible for the problem to begin with and let God sort it out.
Love your stream.
Corinna said what? The problem with OnlyFans is the only people being affected is sex workers, and not only are affected, but being directly attacked. You can still post nudity, just not porn. While I won't be affected, shame on OnlyFans for the direction they're going. Queen. The OnlyFans story is fake. The statement is not even on that link. I'm a creator and I contacted them. They responded that the statement was not made by them. Mate, if we all do jobs we like doing, who does the jobs that no one wants to do? The example is easy, dude. Right now, and this is like turning into a theory stream because a lot of motherfuckers need it, especially like Twitter lefties. But There's two ways to motivate people to do things, okay? There's positive incentives and negative incentives. Under a capitalist organization of the economy, we use negative incentives for remuneration. As in, if you don't fucking clean the toilets, then you will die. You won't be able to put a roof over your head. You won't have shelter. You won't have clothes for your back. You won't have food for your table, and you will fucking die. The positive reinforcement or the positive incentivization would mean that you operate like a family. If you have ownership over your own means of production, if you have at least a say, a more democratic part of the process, you will want to fucking talk and collaborate with the rest of the people that are working at that same business and understand the necessity to clean the toilets. You clean your own toilets, don't you? You clean your house, right? An example I give oftentimes is what I do. I know that many of you will completely lose sight of what I already just said with respect to how if you are generating wages from your own labor, you are still working, and another person is making more money off of your labor and ultimately paying you a percentage of that. Okay? But most of you will still say that that's not technically working. Fuck you, because you enjoy yourself. But regardless, if we were to assume that Twitch streamers are working, okay? If we were to assume that, why do I work the hours that I do? Well, I have a contract that also has minimum hours in it, but why do I work a lot more than that contract? Because I have a minimum amount of ads that I need to fucking run and a minimum amount of like ad density that I need to get. And I negotiated that because I have more power than the average worker. Obviously, that's part of the reason why I was able to negotiate down the amount of ads that I run on this stream. You know, the 1 minute ad break that you see at the top of the hour. So the reason why I work as much as I do, if you are to consider Twitch streaming work, okay, is because I enjoy it. I'm not forced by a manager
Comrade HasanAbi
to, you know, sit here for 8 fucking hours and have like parasocial chatters be like, why are you not chewing your nails enough? Or why are you chewing your nails too hard? I enjoy it. I love what I do. And I also see like there's a lot of stuff that I need to do on the back end for this work, right? Reading, writing, staying on top of things, promotional things that I need to do from now every now and then. Okay? But I do it even if I don't want to do it. I do it because I know I have to do it, and I have a lot less alienation from my labor than the average worker does. So even if there's something that I don't want to do, I still do it for myself. You get it? Because I'm positively incentivized. A business owner, a successful business owner will, if it's a small business, for example, a successful business owner will want to do, like, will want to fucking make sure that there's like clean toilets. That's why business owners themselves will oftentimes, yeah, I know, I don't know, dude. Seems like a long way to justify pre-watching videos, you scum. Yeah, that's true. Like, small business owners, when there isn't a lot of, when there is a labor shortage in the market as a consequence of people being like, I don't want to fucking work. Like, this job sucks. Okay. When there is a tight labor market, you see the harrowing stories of business owners having to do the dishes themselves because they can't find a dishwasher because none of them actually want to work for the low pay that they're putting out. Right? Why are they doing that? Because they recognize that the dishes still need to be kept clean. And they're willing to do that. They're willing to do that extra work on their own, even if they fucking hate it, because it is a thing that needs to be done for the work to continue. And because they have ownership over their own work, they will literally do everything they can to continue that work, to continue that that business. That doesn't answer the question, though. So why would anyone decide to clean toilets than do anything else they like? No one enjoys cleaning toilets. That doesn't answer the question, though. Wait, no, it literally does. We understand that there are jobs that are necessities in every workplace. And instead of fucking forcing people to do those jobs because they have no other options, or because they are made to feel replaceable, because they're made to because they're saddled with debt.
I'm gonna be just like you.
That's one way of forcing people to do that. And then the other way of forcing people to do that is because they recognize that it's a necessary part of the work and they have an ownership stake. Okay? Do you fucking get paid to wipe your ass? Are you one of those born to shit, forced to wipe Andes, dude? Are you a crusty ass anarchist? And I mean like literally crusty ass because all the shit has crusted in your asshole from not wiping it? No. You wipe your ass because you want to be clean. It's the same principle. Except some of you guys are actually fucking born to shit, forced to wipe Andes, so I don't know how to deal with you, so.
Hey Hasan, I'm Armenian American but also am Turkish. I just wanted to ask for your opinion on how Artsakh is majority Armenian, always has been, and that Azerbaijan is burning our land. Also, do you support Fenerbahce, Galatasaray or Besiktas? Much love.
I do not support any fucking football team, but my family are Fenerbahce fans. So I guess technically I'm a Fenerbahce fan, but I'm not.
No need to read live.
That makes sense for single toilets, but what about larger sanitation concerns like sewage treatment or stadium bathrooms?
Published simple DIY.
What do you mean, dude?
Agency,
like,
low back protocol,
it's the same.
Help many, no
It's the same as anything.
And quick fix
they get fucking paid more. They feel like it's a necessity to do that. They're gonna do it gladly. Anyway. Okay, we're done with that.
Do you plan to watch and break down Nelk's podcast with Donya and Robert O'Neill on Afghan?
Group projects don't work. Look, I'm not a fucking... I think cooperative ownership can work, and there are successful examples of this. But that doesn't mean that there can never be a hierarchical structure. You understand that, right? Like, it doesn't always have to be... Fucking thing. Like, there can still be a hierarchy that is more democratic in nature. Rather than the current incredibly unequal way that the workplace structure is designed. Changing it from a fascist autocracy, which capitalist workplaces are, to a more democratic process.
Why you no stand at your desk anymore?
Can you explain how managerial type positions fit into this? Like, I can imagine how worker surplus value would be determined when you add layers of complexity to the business who can effectively manage the logistics means of production. My mind only goes towards CO types who end up overpaid. How do these types of positions fit into a cooperative business model? To be honest, I don't have a good answer for that. I really don't. Maybe someone else has a better answer than me, but like, that's part of the reason why I also talk about how like how I also talk about like how the workplace has evolved since the factory line in the aftermath of the Industrial Revolution. And that's why unionization has like a layer of complexity. Does that make sense? My ultimate goal is, and I've said this before, I am a profoundly fortunate individual. I'm incredibly lucky. I talk about how lucky I am regularly, okay? I have a job that I like. I enjoy doing it. I set my own hours. I have a community that I love that I've been able to fucking foster for a very long time, okay? All of this shit's awesome. I have complete freedom at this moment from financial hardships. And I know what it's like when you don't have that. Okay, I've been on that side as well. It's a massive burden that that basically lives over your entire life, that rules over your entire life. That's why they say money isn't everything, but when you're poor, it is. You know, when you don't have it, it is. Because it really is. Money is just freedom, ultimately. Freedom to be able to pursue things that you enjoy doing. So, my goal is to be able to offer, at the short term, a base level of material equality to all people, which is literally equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome. Okay? Like true equality of opportunity, where the state provides basic necessities unconditionally to those who need it. You can still have like some form of markets on top of it, especially in the short term, hopefully with no need for markets in the long term. But in the short term, having the state provide shelter, provide food if you need it, provide healthcare for free, provide a better educated labor class the tools to better themselves in the form of education. Okay? If you do that, you unlock the potential, even from a capitalist point of view, you unlock the potential of all human beings. Who knows where the fuck we would go with technological achievements if people that are currently being left behind exclusively because of their shit spawn point, who knows where we would go with the potential technological achievements that they would bring about. Okay? There it is.
Hi chat.
How do people hear people like HasanAbi talk and automatically think they're bad for the future of the country?
What up, homie?
I think there is like, I think people are very upset with the system that they exist under, even if they recognize it or not. So the immediate reaction to someone like myself, who's very loud, okay, but who's also very fortunate, is like, well, fuck that guy. He is exploiting everyone around him by, you know, lying to them or some shit. Like, how dare he criticize the systems that he himself is successful under when I'm not? And that doesn't cause a lot of people to like unironically examine meritocracy or the systems that they live under and instead lash out in anger. Okay? And it's very stupid. But it's also like I said, the wet dream of a capitalist.
Get it right, get it tight.
Like, I don't hide my riches or my wealth. I like literally have the number of subscribers that I have at the top right corner. It still leads to a fuckload of
Any
like
thoughts on possible
pocket
outcomes for
watching
Norway if they
and
leave
people
NATO?
who are like,
The two
well,
most
if I was in your
prominent leftist
situation, I'd be
parties currently
spending
include
that
the
money
partition
differently.
from
And
NATO
it's like, you shouldn't be
renegotiation of
spending
the
it
EU
this way.
deal.
You shouldn't be spending it that way. Poke called you out? No, I've always had that number. I've had that number since I reached like, I don't know, since I reached like more than 2,000 subs. I have not reacted to the Nelk boys. There's so much content to cover. Let's get into it. Additionally, clipping out of context is this, which is arguably Twitch streamers' downfall in regards to first impressions. Yeah, I think that probably plays a big role in it too. I mean, that definitely plays a big role in it.
Hi.
What is this?
When a whale shark likes you so
What the fuck is this, dude?
much he wants to swallow you whole. Struggle. Nom. Nom, nom, nom. When a whale
That is one of the most psychotic things I've ever fucking seen, dude. That is like, why the fuck do people do that, dude? Okay. Oh, I was gonna, we went on this fucking tangent about like wealthy people and shit like that, but
the welfare 10. So as promised,
let's see what this
here is a
motherfucker has the
bottom 10
welfare 10
income
over
earners
on.
in my friend group. They call themselves the welfare 10. So let's get into it.
So here is the welfare 10. Really good friends, known most of these guys since college. A couple of them unemployed, all of them under 100,000 per year. We also have a lot more PTO options, expected bonuses, not so much. We don't even do a 7-day trip here.
Bro, this is literally like, this is actually the fucking perfect representation of like how this shit works. The more money you have, the more unlimited PTO you have, the more money you have to spend. And the less money you have, the fucking less money you have to spend. Why are they also like separated? That's so fucking sad, dude.
It's mostly 3-day trips. A couple of them are already tapped out. Similar fiancés, singles, kind of a mix there. They're all willing to do third world destinations, except Caleb. He's had a bad experience out there. We have to, kind of change up the questions here. Non-chain restaurants, very important to understand. And then also if their ability to do first class for hotel or flights, having points is important. And we have a few degenerate gamblers here as well. Big thing to note, I don't care about my friend's income. It's just very helpful when we're planning day trips or road trips and see where everyone's at, money-wise. So that's the bottom 10.
Bro, okay, let me just say this again, bro. It's like, none of that matters. Okay? Like, there's like a really rich guy there, dude. What the fuck? Why won't they like, I don't understand. I don't understand why he's not paying for most of this shit. What did he say? Children of the girls are getting dragged into sex slavery, peaceful and inclusive regime. I never said that. Do you think that do you think that I ever said the Taliban is a peaceful and inclusive regime? Because you're fucking delusional if you ever.
Hell right, I am now
It's not what I do not believe
Here's
that.
to another year of shitting on the clock while listening to my favorite himbo Pog Daddy. Baha blessed.
I impersonated the world's most successful megachurch pastor. Oh my god, there's some good ass fucking content out there. I couldn't even get through this Marcus Luttrell video because I don't care. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't care about him. We briefly talked about only